Hello, Bill McRae, back at you today. We're going to talk about entrepreneurism. First of all, a little background. Um, I started working in 1976 at 14 years old. That would make me 57 today. So it's been 43 years. Been working all my life as an entrepreneur for myself in one capacity or other, other than 3 years where I worked as a CFO for a large pump manufacturer out of Stuttgart, Germany. And that was a great, fun experience. And I said, you know what, I like this self-employment thing. So here I am still doing it. And the great thing is in the late 90s, I got a chance to head up a national association of suppliers. And became very proficient at doing a lot of public speaking. And I was not afraid of getting in front of an audience of 1,500 people or whatever. I spoke in DC, Chicago, all over the nation, talking about the challenges for running a wholesale distribution business, which is the business we were in at the time. That all kind of changed later on, and starting in 2008, I started my software and more of an internet marketing business, which I actually started in 2004 as an e-commerce. And I finally got to the point where by 2010, I was talking in front of business opportunity stages all over the United States, at least once a month, as a boy, if I could only talk, right? As a keynote speaker. And my goal was to teach and enhance people and get them excited about becoming entrepreneurs, because there has never been a better opportunity than exists right now to be an entrepreneur because of the internet, because of social media. Because of so many things. I know you're sitting there going, I wish I could do that. I wish I could make some money online. And you can. It really is not that hard. So I wanted to talk a little bit about entrepreneurism, because it is not, I seem to have been born with it, but my dad was an entrepreneur too. His dad was. My grandfather owned a grocery store in Leadore, Idaho. Ran that for 30 years. And my dad took it over and moved to Sheridan, Montana. I owned a grocery store there, and ultimately owned a greenhouse and grew plants and flowers and delivered them throughout the 60s and 70s. Ultimately became a sales rep for a company out of Chicago, moved us out to Ohio. We lived there for, I think 8 years. And that's when he worked, and we became a wholesale distributor for the products that he was selling. But he owned a business, and we moved to California, and everything blossomed up. That's when I started working. It was in 1976 at 14 years old. And I really love working, and I think that's one of the characteristics of a good entrepreneur is they absolutely got to love and have a deep passion for what they're doing. Passion is absolutely it. Now, why do I like working at home? Because working for myself, because when I worked for a company for 5 or 6 years, or even when the company my father and I built became a public company, and suddenly we were on a board of directors, which is kind of like working for, well, I guess it is working for someone else. I hated the politics and the games and the stuff that had nothing to do with generating business and improving bottom line and making it a great place to work for. Because I was always interested in improving profits and increasing productivity and reducing workload and increasing paychecks and making it fun. Because the more I made it fun, the more productivity went up, the more money we made. And it was a validation that my thought process was right. Well, to me, that is all part of entrepreneurism. It creates what I call a mindset. And it's actually more of a marketing mindset in a way. And it contains very important things that an entrepreneur has to have. They got to be, first of all, passionate about what they're trying to do. Second of all, they have to be knowledgeable. They have to understand it, study it, learn it, figure it out. And they have to be able to talk about it with people they know. If you are involved in a business where you can't talk to your wife about it, I suggest you get out of the business and don't do it. Because if you can't really explain it to somebody who's a close friend, somebody goes, what do you do, Bill? I said, I focus on lead generation. I help small businesses around the country, actually around the world, create more leads for their company so they can grow and prosper. Now, that's something I can talk about because it's true. I don't say, well, I'm invested in this company that's building this, they're doing that, and I get paid based on how many people I recruit into the business, and there really is no product. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing, Those are the things that a lot of people think they have to do. They're called multi-layer marketing schemes or pyramid schemes. And honestly, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to sit down and describe to your spouse, to your kids, to your parents what you're doing. And if you can't explain it to them in very simple language, you shouldn't be doing it. Okay? The more complex something is, or more difficult it is to explain, the more obfuscated and the more chances of being just a pile of poo. You need to be able to explain it very short, simple words. There are tons of ways to make money online as an affiliate, as an entrepreneur. You can build an e-commerce store, which I did in 2004. Brought it in, package, ship, boom. To be a drop shipper, basically the same thing, but you don't touch it, you just drop ship it. There's lots of challenges to them doing these things, but was successful at both because I applied that tenacity and that drive and the work ethic towards finding solutions. I just didn't throw my hands up in the air and say, this is a scam, I can't do it. No, I figured it out. I kept working at it. So you want to be an entrepreneur, you've got to have that curiosity and that passion and that drive. And then you need to find people to trust, to follow. Now, who are you going to trust? Are you going to trust a flashy kid that's driving around in a Bentley? Or are you going to trust some guy that just shows up and talks to you in front of a camera who's just like you? I would find somebody you trust because you can relate to them. If you're going to be an entrepreneur online, you need to be able to understand what it is you're selling. You need to be able to explain it to your friends and family. You need to not be embarrassed about it. You need to be absolutely passionate about what you're doing. And you need to stick with it. And you need to study, study, study. Affiliate marketing is one of the best things you can possibly do. Building an email list, promoting through pay-per-click, doing all the things. The training's available out there. You got to apply yourself. You got to learn it. You got to go through some junk before you get to the good stuff. But if you do those things, you can be making a mountain of money. I know guys that are making $80,000, $90,000 a month on affiliate marketing. I've definitely done well over $100,000 a month myself in that arena. Not the way they're doing it, because things evolve and change. Because that's the other thing that an entrepreneur needs to do. They need to adapt to the way things are. Back in 2010, it was all about email marketing. YouTube wasn't even really much of anything yet. Social media was just fledgling. Now, you got to take and combine social media, email marketing, text marketing, YouTube marketing, video marketing, all sorts of different things into kind of a melange of types of ways of promoting yourself and your product. Why do I do these videos? I want you guys to know who I am, that I'm Ernest, and when you see an email from me, you know that, hey, I'm going to learn something. You're also going to probably buy from me if you have a choice. You understand how that works? It's called branding. So that's another thing. An entrepreneur has to not be afraid to stand in front of camera and look people in the eye and explain what they're doing and what they're selling. I have no problem selling you leads through my system. I know they work. I use them myself. I have no problem teaching you this because I've done it my entire life. I have no problem selling weight loss books on ClickBank, or maybe the latest ClickBank training, like the SAS software system and stuff that really works. So ClickBank University, really good stuff, because I believe in it. If you don't believe in what you're doing, if you can't understand what you're doing, if you can't explain it to your spouse or your kids in very simple terms without getting overly flowery or sounding like a liberal politician explaining their way through why they can get away with murder and the other guys can't, that sort of stuff, right? Okay, and I'm not trying to create any controversy there. It's just that the simple, straightforward solution is always the most accurate. If you can describe it in a few words, there's not a lot to debate, is there? I sell leads. I do affiliate marketing. I do email marketing. I do YouTube marketing. I make money on all these different systems, and I attack it every single day. That is the way an entrepreneur works. They're tenacious. They find solutions. And when they find those solutions, they scale them as far as they can push them. And then the next thing they do is they seek to help other people do the same thing. And the final thing is, when you finally start making a little bit of money, don't let it go to your head. It's just money, first of all, put it aside, pay your house off, whatever you need to do. And don't expect you're going to make $80,000 a month in the first month. It just isn't going to happen. So stay tuned. Leave a comment below. You want to know about entrepreneurism? Ask me anything. Also, I got a couple other videos I'm going to point out to you in the next slide. You guys have a wonderful day.